Data Bites. Hi everyone, this is Neha bringing you our latest episode from Denodo Data Bites, discussing all things data. Please welcome our guest on the show today, Mr. Robin Tandon, who is the Director of Product Marketing here at Denodo for the regions of Europe, Middle East, Africa, and Latin America. Robin has over 25 years of industry experience working with enterprise and cloud software organizations. And Robin is joining us for his second episode actually on the show. So a very warm welcome to you, Robin. How do you feel being back on the show?
Hi Neha, yeah, absolutely fabulous. So it's been an amazing time since the last time we spoke. So much is happening here at Denodo. We're really into our final release of the platform for the year. Personally, I've been very busy with end-of-year marketing events, and I've had the immense fortune to attend the Amazon Web Services reInvent event in Las Vegas and meet with some of our customers and our partners who use Denodo with the platform hosted by Amazon Web Services. So that's been an amazing time. I've learned so much during that period of just a few days.
That would have been really cool to meet customers and partners and to get their feedback on their experience with Denodo. So I'm excited to speak with you about how data virtualization bridges the gap with customer 360 views. But before we begin, can you give a brief background about how you got into the data space for new listeners?
Absolutely. So, as mentioned in the last episode, I've been in the software industry all my working life. In fact, my first ever programming job was as a FoxPro programmer. That's one for history. Anybody who remembers FoxPro, it'll date you. It was an immense language that was available in the early 1990s through to 2000, eventually bought by Microsoft. So I've been involved with data since then. And then I moved into more of a DBA role with the original versions of Microsoft SQL Server hosted on platforms like NT4. But more recently, I was involved with developing an IoT product, which was all about analytics. And then I moved to Denodo, where everything we do, everything we speak about, is always around the data conversation.
That's wonderful, Robin. So right from software development to analytics to marketing, you have seen it all. So let's jump right in. How is data virtualization facilitating digital transformation, and why is a 360-degree customer view so important?
So data virtualization as a technology, really we think of the 3 C's: connect, combine and consume. So what do we mean by that? So Denodo allows you to connect to disparate data sources across your enterprise, whether they be on-premise or whether they be in the cloud or in a hybrid mode, combining those data sources into one single view, and then allowing applications such as business analytics tools like Tableau or data science tools like Zeppelin or Python or R to consume it. We provide that consumption layer through various standard connectors, JDBC drivers, or RESTful APIs. So why is a 360 view of the customer really important? Perhaps I can give you some real-life examples. As a consumer, have a relationship with a large utility company. They provide both my gas and my electricity services to our household. However, these are running on separate contracts. We also use the same company to provide insurance cover for our furnace or boiler. Here in the UK, that's a necessity. Today, it's just about 0 degrees Celsius, so bouncing along the frozen mark, so the furnace is on. And this is underwritten by an outsourced third party, still under the same company branding and company name. Now, when I call their customer services team to make an amendment to my account, for example, to change my bank details, which I had to do recently, I've had to do it 3 times over. So not only is that frustrating for me, the cost to that organisation of dealing with 3 phone calls it's exponentially more expensive. Wouldn't it be wonderful if I could do it in one transaction? So that's a simple real-life example from my life where an organisation's failure to integrate just 3 data sources into a single view is costing them loads of money and providing a less than satisfactory experience for me. So if we want to talk about single view of the customer, it's something that's really important. And I do hasten to add that utility company is not a Denodo customer. Having that single view is so important.
I totally agree with you on that one. And it is really crucial for companies to kind of have a unified customer view of all their various data sources, mainly from an ease of access and customer point of view, to save time, resources, and cost to company is a huge factor as well. So, what were some demerits of creating a 360-degree custom view the old way?
Yeah, always the greatest question are, how can you get it wrong? And this kind of reminds me of history again. So I worked with a product or solution back in the early 2000s. And even back then, it was acknowledged in certain sectors, and this was particularly a software product for call centers, that improved customer satisfaction would be a good thing, and that having that single view of the customer would be a good thing. So back in the day, the way that we tried to achieve it was through a unified desktop. A unified desktop basically did the integration at the desktop level. So the desktop application would go off, bring the data onto the desktop, and we were using screen scraping techniques, we were using object linking and embedding or OLE techniques, all sorts of historical techniques that you would have done back in the day. Now, to a partial extent, that did succeed. However, the fact that there were desktop applications trying to do this meant the horsepower wasn't there. It also meant failures were very, very regular and common, and it gave rise to a lack of trust of what was in front of the call center agent and a lot of latency. Oh boy, did it produce latency. On average, it would take maybe 10 to 15 seconds for the screen to load, which when you're on a phone call to a customer and you're either trying to sell them something or resolve a customer service inquiry, it's just not good. It's terrible. So those were some of the ways people were trying to do it back in the day. Did it fail? Kind of. But did it actually provide the next level beyond what previously was there? Yes, it did. So partly that's not such a bad thing.
That's true. I think it was all a part of the journey to get us here today, where we are able to access information with just one click, and that too an integrative view of the information, which is an added plus point. So, is there an increasing need for zero latency 360-degree customer views, and why?
Well, I think that kind of the question was previously answered.
Yes, you kind of covered it a bit already.
Yeah, previously. So to a certain extent. However, I covered it slightly. I mean, there are obvious reasons why you want zero latency, typically for the whole customer service experience. That whole idea of not knowing what's happening, telling the customer to go on hold and wait while the screens refresh. That's really bad customer interaction. And then when we talk about real-time, near-time data analytic, this is now the 21st century. We expect to have instant information, and that instant information should be as real-time as possible so that the best decisions can be made. So if we again talk about customer, we're looking at the next and best actions. So what's the next action and the best action that we can take with that customer to help either make them a happier customer or to help them in their purchasing journey if you're in a sales environment. So zero latency becomes more and more important with the 360-degree view. Denodo have some wonderful use cases and case studies. One particular one springs to mind is a Spanish retailer called Eroski. And if you go to our website, you can read the case study on Eroski. And it's really interesting how they use this real-time 360-degree view of the customer across multiple data sources, from their loyalty program through to their CRM and other areas, to better service the customer. Great case study. Please do go to our website and to the resources section, download a copy and enjoy reading it.
Thanks, Robin. So my next question is, how can companies achieve a 360-degree view of their customers using the Denodo platform? This is where Denodo makes the grand entrance. I'd love to hear more about it from you.
It's really the underlying technology behind our data fabrics, so a logical data fabric or your data mesh. And it's that technology that allows you to do the combination of the data sources. So we support up to 150 different or more than 150 different data sources. These are everything from real-time streaming data from your CRM applications such as Salesforce to integrations with your historic databases. You might have a historic data warehouse, or you might have a real-time cloud environment such as Snowflake, or even your DB2s from the past databases. So being able to use DV or data virtualization can normalize that view. So you normalize the view so the consuming application or the consumer, they're agnostic to what's behind it. And of course, the other really exciting thing we can do with Denodo is we can enhance that metadata using our AI and ML capabilities to start providing even more information and the normalization of that information into that single view becomes really powerful. So companies can achieve the 360-degree view using the Denodo platform and our data virtualization technologies by using the connect and the combine functions. So we combine it up into a single view, which then allows the consuming application, whether that be a desktop application or a business analytics application or a data science application, to then perform their next functions, which may be, even more excitingly, some AI on it, to then say, okay, this is the customer, this is what they want to do next, this is how we can better service the customer.
Got it. Thanks for explaining that, Robin. And my final question is, we speak a lot about a 360-degree view of the customers, but do we stop just at customers?
That's a great question. So I've been looking a lot at this recently. I've been sitting in on different webinars by some of our competitors as well as some of our partners. And we're now really moving beyond that concept of 360-degree view of the customer, and we're looking at it more as a 360-degree business view. So if you actually consider, I've got a great case study actually published recently on the Denodo website by LeasePlan. LeasePlan are a bank, essentially, but they are the world's largest vehicle fleet management organisation. So they have tens of thousands of vehicles that are provided into their fleet. What they wanted to be able to do was understand every single detail to do with every single vehicle and have that 360-degree view of a thing, or an IoT view. So they've got sensors in their vehicles that report back telemetrics to their servers. They have the whole maintenance schedule that's gone into the vehicles, so they can optimize when it's best to change out a vehicle or predictive maintenance. So we're now going into that really exciting area of IoT, where we're looking at predictive maintenance. That can only be achieved with a 360-degree view of that entity. So for me, it's really all about that concept of 360-degree business view and not just the 360-degree view of the customer.
I agree with you. I think it's very important to have a 360-degree view of the business. This was a brilliant session, Robin. Thank you for helping us understand the intricacies of customer 360-degree view and data virtualization. And now, as you are already aware, it's time for our Q&A round. Are you all set to go?
Oh, I'm ready.
Great. So the first question is, what is your favorite thing about your career?
I think what excites me most is learning. I've reached a stage where I could sit back and just rely on historical knowledge, but I'm learning every single day. I'm learning about our customers, how they use our products. I'm learning about new features that are coming into our products, like the tag-based security policies that we're putting in. Just been reading the specifications for that and writing some content for our data sheets. That's very exciting. So yeah, really the most enjoyable thing I do is I learn. And I learn whether it's all about customers, whether it's about the industry, or whether it's about the technology. Just learning is everything. So yeah, if you're not learning, you're not growing.
It is very exciting to look forward to learning something new every day. I think at every stage in our career, learning is the only way to move forward. So definitely. And my next question is, what's your favorite holiday?
For me, my favourite holiday is Christmas Day. Waking up on Christmas morning, looking at my children, seeing them enjoy their presents, eating chocolate before 8 a.m, and then spending the afternoon with my parents whilst we consume copious quantities of turkey and other vegetables and stuff. So big over here is the Brussels sprout. Every year I have my one Brussels sprout a year on Christmas Day. I refuse to eat them any other point in time. So Christmas is my favourite holiday of the year.
It is Christmas and maintaining traditions is a must, so Brussels sprouts it is, especially in the UK.
Absolutely.
That sounds wonderful, Robin. And my last question to you today is, if you could choose to do anything for a day, what would it be?
For me, I guess my biggest relaxation is going hiking with my dog. So if you give me a free day, I will take Phoebe and we will go up in the woodlands around where I live. I'm very fortunate. I live in an amazing area. I have fields 300 metres from my front door. And then I have some really ancient historic woodlands that are less than half a mile away. And they go on for miles, so we can take her into there. And her and I will get lost for the day. Take a sandwich with us. One for me, one for her, bottle of water, and maybe a cup of tea.
That's nice. A short break for some nature therapy.
Absolutely. Recharge, disconnect.
That's great to hear. Thank you so much for such an enjoyable session as always, Robin. It's great speaking to you and really enjoyed having you on board for the second time on the show.
Well, thank you very much. And yeah, it's always lovely speaking to you, Neha. And thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope it was of some interest.
And a quick message to our listeners: if you enjoyed this episode, please head over to www.denodo.com/podcast to find out more resources related to all things